listen, I need you to be transparent too.
I am transparent.
When it comes talking
Wait.
about like y'all's life or like
Okay,
what's
so
going on with you
what's
all.
not transparent?
Like the Martell interview.
The day started like any other filming day. The crew arrived early, cameras were positioned, microphones tested, and the cast members prepared themselves for another round of scenes. It was supposed to be just one more shoot for the new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. No one expected the atmosphere to shift the way it did. By the end of the day, the show would never feel the same again. At the center of it all stood two women, Fletcher and LaTisha Scott. Both had been part of the cast long enough to understand how reality television worked. Both knew that disagreements and drama could add excitement to the storyline. But what unfolded wasn't ordinary television tension or casual shade tossed for cameras.
I need to mind her own business and keep my family's business out her mother mouth.
You have a problem with me,
That's not
and I don't
true.
know
Now
what it
you
is.
said keep my name out your
What is this? Oh, hell,
I dump your ass in that pool.
You
keep
won't
hollering
dump
at
me, no, my.
Tell you something.
You won't dump me. You
Keep
won't.
hollering at me. Keep hollering at me.
What happened was real, deep, and personal. What began as small smiles and polite nods quickly turned into side glances, raised voices, and finally, an open fight. It was like watching two people fall from friendliness into conflict within minutes, and it caught everyone off guard. Long before that day, the signs had been there. Quietly, almost invisibly, Fletcher and LaTisha had been at odds. Viewers of the show had already picked up on it. At dinners, Fletcher often made pointed remarks that seemed aimed at LaTisha. At group events, LaTisha sometimes ignored Fletcher's comments as though they carried no weight. Even their body language told a story. There was tension in every shared glance, every forced smile, every subtle remark. It resembled a silent battle between two queens fighting for the same throne, only without ever saying it outright. Producers noticed, other cast members noticed, and the audience noticed. The breaking point came during what was meant to be an informal group gathering. Everyone expected lighthearted conversation. Instead, Fletcher raised a concern that had been bothering her. She questioned LaTisha's role in group decisions and whether she was including everyone fairly. As soon as those words left her mouth, the energy shifted. The air thickened. The room felt heavy. LaTisha's smile disappeared, replaced by sharp intensity. She fired back, her words filled with heat rather than humor. Chairs moved, voices rose. Months of hidden frustration poured out in minutes. Fletcher accused LaTisha of excluding her. LaTisha shot back, accusing Fletcher of playing the victim. It wasn't just one disagreement, it was years of resentment breaking loose. Insiders later revealed that this wasn't a random argument. Behind the cameras, a long-running power struggle had been brewing. Fletcher often felt overshadowed, as though her presence didn't matter. LaTisha, on the other hand, believed Fletcher was too focused on herself and not respectful of the group's bigger picture. Some said it was jealousy. Others believed it was simply the clash of two strong personalities. Whatever the cause, the emotions were real, and when the conflict exploded, it shook everyone on set. The cameras captured every single detail, eye rolls, cutting remarks, and the exact moment the friendship collapsed. But the drama didn't end when filming stopped. If anything, it grew worse. Once the fight was out in the open, the entire cast felt its impact. Friendships that had seemed solid suddenly wavered. People started whispering in corners, forming new alliances, and avoiding certain people altogether. The once close-knit cast split into groups, with Fletcher on one side and LaTisha on the other. The producers, who usually thrived on drama, realized this wasn't the kind they could easily control. The tension wasn't playful, it was toxic. Cast members began refusing to film if both Fletcher and LaTisha were present. "I'm not filming if she's there," became a common statement in the dressing rooms. Crew members, who normally stayed neutral, found themselves dragged into the storm. One camera operator described it perfectly. "It felt like we were filming a breakup, not between two people, but between an entire cast." Producers tried to handle the fallout the way they always did, with clever editing and staged confrontations. They thought they could use slow motion shots, dramatic music, and confessionals to keep viewers hooked. But this time, it didn't work as planned. Instead of sparking interest, the atmosphere on set grew unbearable. Scenes turned into shouting matches. Confessionals became bitter rants. Even the crew grew exhausted by the negativity. To make matters worse, producers edited episodes in ways that made things look harsher than they were. Tender moments from LaTisha were cut out. Fletcher's sharp remarks were highlighted without context. The feud was presented as an endless war, with no hero and no chance for peace. When the season aired, viewers were hooked at first. Social media exploded with hashtags, hashtag Team LaTisha and hashtag Team Fletcher. Memes spread everywhere. The drama boosted ratings, but it also took a heavy toll on the women themselves. Fletcher, usually outspoken, started withdrawing from interviews. She hinted online that the full story wasn't being told. LaTisha, typically composed, warned fans not to trust everything they saw on screen. Both women were clearly unraveling under the pressure. It wasn't only the cast feeling the strain. Even the producers disagreed on how far they should push. Some argued the show was becoming too dark and should tone things down. Others pointed to the ratings and insisted the drama was worth it. In the middle of this clash, a radical decision was made. One of the women needed to take a break from filming. The announcement was framed as a mutual decision to give her time to reflect, but fans and even some cast members saw it as punishment disguised as concern. Either way, Fletcher was off the screen, and suddenly LaTisha became the center of the show. With Fletcher gone, LaTisha stepped into the spotlight. She appeared in nearly every group scene, every major storyline, and every confessional. Some fans celebrated her rise, praising her leadership. Others criticized her, calling her manipulative or accusing her of pushing Fletcher out. The pressure on LaTisha only increased. Every word she spoke, every action she took was analyzed and judged. While she seemed to gain power, it didn't feel like a victory. It felt like a burden. Meanwhile, Fletcher's silence created even more speculation. Some fans thought she was planning a dramatic comeback. Others believed she was gone for good. In reality, Fletcher was simply taking a step back, questioning whether the show was worth the personal cost. As the season continued, something unexpected happened. For the first time in months, cast members began opening up about the toll the drama had taken. They spoke about the emotional strain, the pressure of constant conflict, and the difficulty of being judged by viewers who only saw part of the truth. Surprisingly, the producers listened. They brought in a conflict resolution consultant to help. It didn't fix everything, but it changed the atmosphere. People started to reflect instead of just argue. The biggest question became, what would happen when Fletcher returned? Could she and LaTisha face each other without the entire set collapsing into chaos again? Quietly, without any grand entrance, Fletcher returned to the set. There was no dramatic music, no staged announcement. She simply walked back in one day as if she had never left. But she wasn't the same. She wasn't fiery or confrontational. She was calm, deliberate, and measured in her words. When she finally sat across from LaTisha during the final taping, the room fell silent. No shouting, no forced laughter, just two women speaking honestly. Fletcher admitted she often felt erased. LaTisha admitted she often felt attacked. Neither backed down, but both gained clarity. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't friendship. But it was truth. When the reunion aired, fans weren't just picking sides anymore. They were talking about the human cost of reality television. They questioned how much of the drama was real and how much was fueled by producers. They debated whether the entertainment was worth the emotional damage. For the first time, the conversation wasn't about who won. It was about survival. Fletcher and LaTisha walked away changed. They weren't friends, but they weren't enemies either. They were simply two women who had faced their worst moments under the spotlight and lived to tell the story. This season of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, wasn't just another round of reality TV drama. It revealed the cracks in fame, the fragility of trust, and the harsh truth behind the polished edits. It showed that reality television isn't just entertainment. It's real people with real emotions, sometimes pushed to their breaking point. And in its own messy, chaotic way, it created something bigger than drama. It created a story about resilience, honesty, and the complicated cost of living life on camera. And that's where things stand. Fletcher and LaTisha didn't walk away as friends, but they didn't leave as enemies either. This season proved reality TV isn't just entertainment. It's real emotions, raw struggles, and survival. What's next? Only time will tell. Stay tuned for more.